All right, doc. So this is a good one. Is it true that steroids are directly linked to high blood pressure? And if so, is there any way to manage it or keep it under control in the normal range? Because you hear that all the time out there.
Yes and yes. Yes, is it associated with high blood pressure? Probably not for the reasons you might think, although partly yes, in the sense that you give somebody more energy, just like when you go to the gym and you ramp up, you're going to have a higher blood pressure. But I'm assuming that this person is referring to the disease state, if you will, the pathology of hypertension, which
Yeah.
means consistently high, chronically high blood pressure
So
that's
it's not
abnormal.
directly correlated. It's not like
Well, it could be, well, not pathological. Well, let me explain.
okay.
Like when you go to the gym, you get ramped up. Like somebody cuts you off in traffic, you get ramped up, and your blood pressure is going to go up.
Yeah.
If you go on steroids, some profiles of steroids don't just give you energy; they can make you more aggressive. Halotestin is one, for example. It's actually, I believe, still legally legal to prescribe in this country. I mean, it's not contraband, but I don't know who would want to do that. But at any rate, that can raise your blood pressure. Yes, so that's kind of
Okay.
it's a direct way, but I don't think what this person is getting at. What I see raising blood pressure that has nothing to do with being ramped up, that is a direct effect of using steroids or testosterone improperly, is two things really. One, polycythemia. The blood gets thicker. So the hemoglobin gets to 18, hematocrit in the 50s, mid 50s, and you have a problem with thicker blood. You've got too much volume, if you will, in that same space, you're going to have higher blood pressure. The
Mm.
second problem I see, and oftentimes it's combined, is an excess of estrogen. You're not controlling the estrogen. You're not keeping it in the sweet spot, which is roughly 15 to 20 picograms per milliliter of estradiol, which is what we use as a surrogate marker for total estrogens because it's the most prevalent. But the third spacing of water, the water retention from the excess estrogen will cause a problem when measuring hypertension too, or measuring your blood pressure
Mm.
for hypertension. So, yeah, what can you do about it? You can use your aromatase inhibitors to keep estrogen where it's supposed to be. You can obviously check your blood. You have to check it before you know if your H and H are too high or not. But you can go donate blood.
Uh-uh.
I always joke, if someone comes in with this, grab your cell phone, head on down to the American Red Cross, do yourself a favor by getting rid of a pint or so of blood, and every pint you donate will roughly equal 1 point lower of hemoglobin. But then you're doing somebody else a favor. Hopefully most of these people that are reading this, talking about this, and doing this are athletes who are generating, healthy blood. And then use your cell phone to call your mom and tell her what a good boy you are, or girl, and you make three people happy in one day. And it's all free. They'll take your blood every 56 days at the American Red Cross. So those are ways that you can prevent the blood pressure from going up. There is some effect on aldosterone when you take steroids and testosterone. I mean anabolic steroids, of course. But it's milder than most people assume. But you can hold a little bit more water in the bloodstream because of that increased aldosterone, which is essentially the same as if you had a little too much salt in your diet. So that's much easier to adjust, but that could also contribute to the higher blood pressure.
Great, thank you. Okay, long question. I hate when you guys send me long questions because I got to read it back to this. Okay. So, thanks for doing the show. Love it. Can you ask the doc a question on peptide, please? What does he think of them? Recommends them or not, as they are research use only stuff and not made by pharma company currently. Question is, specifically, can you ask him what he thinks of BPC-157 and TB500 combo, or either one of those two for muscle/tendon injury, healing shoulders and elbow issues? Sounds like a souped up glucosamine.
No, they're actually way better.
Oh yeah.
But the first part of the question I'll answer first, which is the problem is in referring to peptides and research only purposes. And yeah, none of them are approved in the
Right.
U.S. I think that there's one peptide out there, melanotan.
Yeah, the tanning one. Yeah.
Which made it to what we would consider stage 3 trials, and don't quote me, in Australia. I don't know where it is at this point, marketing, but these peptides have a lot of promise for the future. There's no doubt about it. I can remember being in school 20 years ago and seeing all these peptides on the wall and all the studies and all the predictions about what could be changed in the future by using them, because it's the inner mechanics of the cells. And anyway, the issue is twofold. One, we don't have enough research. We're in the research phase, and not a whole lot of trials are being done. The trials that I do see, and I'll get to these two specifically, are often in animals and rarely in humans. And lab animals are different than humans, so we can't always extrapolate. And then where do you get these products?
But they're everywhere. They're easy to find.
Well, but are they real? The only guy who knows what goes in there is the guy who manufactures them, and even he, if he's not qualified, doesn't know what he's doing. I mean,
right.
He may think he's putting a peptide in there, but he's mixed the wrong components together, or done it improperly, or under non-sterile conditions, and you got a problem.
Yeah.
So that having been said, I mean, I know it's become a real big business, and with the advent of the internet, some of these brand names, I guess, that are underground are huge companies that have to worry about quality control, because, as I was saying with the internet, somebody in Russia complains about the quality, or how they got infected from one of these things or whatever. We can hear about it here, and it becomes a much smaller world again, much like the corner butcher. If he sells you bad meat, the whole neighborhood's going to know about it. So again, it's one of the things where, unfortunately, we're rolling the dice, and I hope we get more research. But specifically, these two compounds, BPC 157 is used for repairing tendons, and I believe the studies were done just with rodents at this point, but the studies are miraculous. I mean, we're having tendon repair completed in about 6 weeks with rodents.
Wow.
And that's pretty amazing. I asked one of my surgeon friends about it. He didn't know what it was. I have another patient who asked his surgeon about it, and he knew what it was. So hopefully it's coming down the pike faster than some of the others, because we could all use it. But I do have at least 2 patients I can think of that have used it with success. One of them is a bodybuilder who had to undergo shoulder surgery and used it to help speed the repair. That's anecdotal. Who knows? Maybe it was just a brilliant surgeon. He's healthy, and it helped speed it. I have a strong man who did not undergo surgery and did find significant benefit from it. And these guys, some of the studies are showing that they inject it into the body subcutaneously. Some people are finding that they inject it into the tendon, and some people are injecting it in a triangular fashion around the tendon. TB500, that's forgive me, I'm not sure if it's an analog of thymosin beta 4, or if it's because at the terminus you've got something that activates just like thymosin beta 4, but the same idea. You're activating repair, and that one I believe has been used in horses successfully. And actually, there's a veterinary product that you can buy. So they've gone further along than just for research purposes with that one. And again, same idea. I don't know of anybody who's used that. Again, anecdotally, I know that we don't produce much, if any, after a certain age. In the 20s, and so the prospect is pretty good for that. Down the line. But again, I can't recommend it or not. I'm just giving you what information I have.
It's nice that you have people who actually will do these kinds of things and share their experience with you.
Well, I
Because
ask.
it's all, it's great. Yeah.
As I said, I'm a registered libertarian. I have to follow the law, but it's feedback,
Yeah.
and if I can help them avoid, if something doesn't make sense physiologically, then I can stop and say, well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
The studies show that there's a possibility here that it might work in humans. Again, I still give them the same response I just gave you, that it's a roll of the dice still.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I can't prescribe it, but yeah, I like to follow along. It's the way a lot of these things have developed. There's what they call it, bro science and gym science,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it, and we were talking on the way in, a lot of it falls flat on its face, and a lot of people get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But every once in a while, you find something that's actually ahead of the game. Some people have had better experiences and know more about it, or before, we have the studies to prove it. And anyway, for whatever that's worth, it's just information at this point.
Some people just don't want to wait.
Yeah, I understand.
Thanks, Tom.